Hello. This week we're at St Mary's Church at Luddenham in Kent. St Mary's is a Grade 1 listed church found in the small parish of Luddenham near Faversham. It's situated on the edge of the marshland alongside the site of the manor house it was initially part of. It's constructed in the flint and render style common to the region and has areas which showcased reused Roman tile and brickwork along with small areas of medieval tile. Luddenham itself is listed as either Sildresham or Dodeham in the Domesday Book, and the land was initially held by Odo, Earl of Kent and Bishop of Baier. The parish was renamed Luddenham after William de Luddenham, who next held the lands. He gifted the church to the abbot at Faversham in a ceremony involving him placing his knife upon the altar. The population of the parish of Luddenham has traditionally been low. Currently there are just 40 residents, however there have been fluctuations. In 1640 there were 68 registered communicants, and in a topographical survey of 1798 there were only 10 houses in the parish bounds. The survey suggests the unhealthiness of its situation occasions it being very thinly inhabited, those who risk their lives in it seldom attaining any great age.
Thank you, Phil, for the information there. So let's get started with the investigation. So Chris, are you picking up anything at the moment?
Yeah, when I walked into the church, I was very aware of spirits here, two spirits in particular. There is certainly something going on, or something related to a batch of tiles over there, because every time I've been up there, it gets very cold. It's like walking through treacle. I've had breezes go past. Set up two trigger objects, one here and one here, so a rosary and a crucifix over there. Obviously being a church, I feel that might have some, might trigger some kind of
yes.
phenomena. I'd also like to put some holy water in the piscina because it's a spiritual act, it's a church. Again, it might actually help trigger some phenomena, bring on the spirits that are here.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So let's get started. So if we call out and then hopefully we can get some activity. And Stuart's on hand, so again, if we call out and again we can explain by natural causes what it is, we can go to Stuart for an explanation, if that's okay, Stuart. That's fine. Yeah. I've got a K2 meter here, so again, if there's a spirit present, the lights start off at green, they go up to red. So again, if we have got spirit near us, the light should light up on the control panel here. Stuart's got a spirit box which will go through the frequencies, and again this is radio frequencies, so again later on we can use that, and again hopefully we might get some audible activity on that. So Stuart, you've got a REM pod here tonight. What does a REM pod do?
Well, it's a mini REM. Basically it throws out from this antenna electric magnetic field, and anything that gets into that area will set it off as it is now. The stronger the entity is, the more the lights will go up to red, which is a strong entity, and you can communicate with spirits this way by asking them to stand closer or stand away, and then you'll find out the strength of these spirits. Yeah, very handy bit of equipment.
I can see it is, and hopefully we can get lots of activity tonight using that.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Cheers.
I'm just going to go over to Chris and talk to Chris about the equipment that he's brought tonight. So Chris, you brought a few bits of bobs with you tonight. If you want to just explain the equipment you've actually brought tonight.
Okay, I've brought a pendulum with me tonight so that we can ask it to see if the spirit can actually interact with that on a physical device. We have a Ouija board with us as well, so again we can use the power of everybody here to see if we can draw that spirit out and get some answers, find out who those spirits are. I brought some holy water, again as a trigger item, because this is it's a church. I feel that the holy water might well bring on some phenomena. We could very well find we'll pick up on some spirits over there, or at least the priest. I've put a crucifix over there as a trigger item, drawn around it to see if it moves, and a rosary down there. Also the candles. Again, we could use those in the same way that we use a Ouija board. If we can draw the spirit close, it should make the flame grow and reduce, so potentially communicate through that too.
Excellent. So we've got lots of equipment tonight.
Lots of various equipment.
And you very kindly gave me a device here, so would you want to just explain how this works?
Okay, so this is actually for measuring temperature, so it's a laser temperature thermometer. you shoot it in the direction that you want to measure the temperature. It gives you a reading in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Again, if there's a spirit close, as I say, walking through here, felt lots of cold breezes. I've got cold spots. This should be able to measure the temperature drops.
Fantastic. And I've just been looking at this. It was 9 degrees. It went down to 8.8. It's now shot up to 9.4. So again, that would be a good piece of kit we can use tonight.
Absolutely. And sort of the trigger's just over there. What I'll actually say about that trigger over there, the rosary, I've left it over there because when I took it out, I put it on the side. And actually 3 times when I've come back, not thinking about it, looking at it, it's been in different positions. So actually I'm really hoping that carries on.
Up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we haven't really started yet. We're getting things happening already, which is
the
really good,
vibration
isn't
here
it?
is very strong, yeah.
So we've got Chris here, our medium, and Tracy, who's investigating tonight, but she is also one of our mediums. Chris, just as we sort of take a quick walk through the church, what sort of things are you sensing? What are you feeling here at the moment?
Well, as I said earlier, I'm very aware of 2 spirits here. One is most definitely a priest. I've seen him wearing red. I did a little drawing earlier, which I can sort of show you later. But I feel we felt he was more Anglican rather than Catholic. So there's also someone who helps him here, and it's an older man. And you saw him too, didn't you?
Yes, I've seen him as well.
Going up to the altar, when you sort of wander up where the rood screen would have been, it's like a wall. It's almost like walking through treacle. We were almost pushed off of the altar at one point, and sitting whilst doing the protection for the building and everybody in it. We definitely heard a clear, don't want you here, get out. They really don't want us, or didn't want us here. We've tried to appease the spirits that are here, telling them that obviously we've come respectfully just to prove their existence, maybe learn from them, if necessary move them on if that's what's needed. There's lots of cold spots. There's, like I said, a particular spot up there where there's some tiles, and every time you're near those tiles it gets very cold. We've felt breezes go past us.
Should we head up that way? Let's head up that way. And
I'm not getting any names at the moment. Are you, Tracy?
No, I've had no names at the moment, and I think a lot of that is because originally they didn't want us, as I say, they didn't want us to be here. Yes, and this is where we had before somebody sitting in the pews.
So I've got definitely someone here and someone right there sitting in these pews, but particularly here it's quite a large figure.
can you give any details?
It's a man. There's a male figure there. I believe this is the same priest that I've seen already. He plays a little bit of hide and seek with us actually. 1 minute he's there and he'll move on. What are you getting, Tracy?
The same with you is the hide and seek effect, as I said before, earlier on in the evening. It's there, all over the place. It's as you see him, he wants to move, so that it's a bit of a cat and mouse thing with him, really, just trying to catch him. I think that's probably who I caught on the camera earlier on, which, you'll have a...
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about the faces that you saw on the pictures.
Earlier in the evening we took lots of photographs. The idea was to take the photographs while it was quiet and we still had some daylight. We got quite a lot of mists and white figure. But on one of the shots we've got a clear face, and we think that looks like one of the priests.
It does look like the priest.
Yeah.
So we're actually on the altar now, so the priest would have delivered his mass from here. We've had a screen up around about here in those days, because it's a very old church. Here is a font or a pistina, which would have held holy water. There would have also been one down at the door there for the congregation. So we felt that if we put some holy water here, we might start to bring on some phenomena, because the priest would be very aware and familiar with this. So shall we do that? mantra in there. So we're up here, and he's now down there. So this is a bit of sort of like this cat and mouse game that we've had with these particular spirits. Whilst they don't want us here, they're very reticent to be in the same area as us, but will walk past us. But we'll see, hopefully this might help, and we can investigate some of the trigger objects. So what we're doing is getting Tracy to put a trigger object on the altar, which is the crucifix. She's going to draw around it, and then we'll come back later to see if the cross has been moved. We should be able to tell because obviously it would have moved out of the lines that we drew.
Okay, so let's place that back in the lines.
Okay, so if that's moved at any time,
That will come out.
we'll be able to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what we've done is place another trigger object here, again, a familiar object, a rosary, put it into the tabernacle where they would have kept the sacraments. Obviously it's a very sacred place. If there's a priest here, we'll visit this and hopefully interact with our crucifix.
And this will be the area that we'll be doing a lone vigil in a little bit later on this evening. It's just a small area sectioned off from the rest of the church. There's an old safe in the corner, and then just above that is our trigger item there.
I'm joined by Lisa, who is the team historian, and I gather you've done quite a bit of research about Luddenham Church. So what interesting facts have you picked up?
I found out quite a lot about the church. It's a very interesting area. The church itself was started in 1150 AD, and the last renovations took place in 1889 with the addition of the porch here. There are several areas of interest in the church. We've got reused Roman ruins in the building itself. There is an undiscovered Roman villa somewhere in this region. Whether it's right here or not is unknown. We've also got some medieval tiles in front of the altar, dating from about the 16th century. And the most interesting area is just over here where we have the 13th century knight's coffin lid. Now this has been moved from a church nearby, the ruins of Stone Church. Now that church itself fell into disrepair around 1568. That just tells you how old this is. The knight itself is known, his name is unknown, but there is speculation. At the top of the tomb itself is a pair of hands clasping a heart. Quite often knights that died on a crusade, they didn't send the whole body home, whether it was for reasons that the body was too badly mutilated, or just financial reasons for bringing back a body, and it would be pretty awful by the time it got home. They would send back the heart, and that would have been buried in its home chapel. And quite often that signifies that that has happened.
In this previously shot footage by the White Noise team whilst on a recce for the church here at Luddenham, listen very carefully and you'll hear a startling noise.
Is there any trouble?
What was that?
The bar, blocking the original doorway to the church, sits on solid metal brackets, meaning someone physically has to lift it. But no one did.
I don't know, we were
This,
in there.
I
was in there. But this fell off.
This wooden thing just fell off the door.
Ooh.
That's the wooden thing that I couldn't get off last week.
It just fell off the door.
Maybe it wants us to go in there.
This still goes straight outside. I think it's locked to the top though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's barred up at the top.
Kept a bit. I went and sat there.
Had that on camera as well.
By the way, you're going to see me run.
Okay, we're at the middle of the church, and there's an interesting tile here, Chris. You sort of picked up something earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, there's really something about this tile, and there's also one back there which we can try in a moment. Every time we've come here, there's been a cold draft. There's certainly been a feeling around here, cold spots, movement past us. We've seen the spirits move past this area. There's clearly something about this tile. Haven't found out what it is yet, but we'll look into that. And hopefully we could draw them out here because they seem to be quite interested in this spot.
Thank you very much. I'm going to use a temperature gauge just to get a base reading now, and it's 8.8 degrees, so let's call out and see if we can get any activity. So have you got any spirit people here at all, please? If we have, can you make yourself known? Can you make a noise? Can you tap something, please? Can you make a tapping noise? Can you tap something, please? Can you make a tapping noise? Make a tapping noise? Use our energy. We've just come to say hello to you. Please give us a sign you're here. If we're not wanted, show yourself and we will go. It does feel a bit cooler here actually. I'm just going to do another temperature reading. It's still showing 8.8. But I've got like a draft around my legs at the moment.
Mm-hmm. That's what we've been having. It actually went right past us last time. Right through us, in fact. We were both walking up
So
there,
I can
weren't we?
sense something here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can sense something to the left of me at the
Yeah.
moment.
I was going to say it's over there.
Mm.
Are they happy for us to be here, whoever it is?
Not really.
Not at all.
Well, unfortunately we're here for the next few hours.
But it's definitely over here. It's definitely to the
Yeah.
left. You can feel it over here as well. You can feel something over here.
Well, again, I don't know about you guys, but I feel really cold. I'm just
Yeah,
going to do
it is.
another temperature reading, if that's okay. It's gone down to 8.6, which I know is only a small variation, but it's still going down there.
We could just do it over here.
Yeah, of
Just do
course.
it over there, just against where that...
So I go against the organ.
Just where the organ is.
It's still at 8.8.
Okay.
But interesting though, I mean, my legs have turned really cold.
And I know, I don't know if you'd like to try it over here and see what we're like over here because it's...
Yeah. Oh, it's gone down to
Yeah.
8. So let's go a bit closer. Actually, this is
Because
freezing.
here, because here is where, as I said, when I was standing there to the left, which is over here,
Yeah.
was where I felt that there was something with me there.
Just explain what's going on, Tracy.
Okay, to the right of me, I feel a spirit, and it wasn't the one I had before. It's totally different. I spoke to Chris and asked Chris, and Chris has confirmed that.
Yeah, it's an older man. It's not the same priest that we've been seeing. This one is in black, so potentially Catholic. So we'll try and find, maybe see if we can draw him in a bit closer and find out a little bit more detail. Yeah, are you willing to do that?
I'm willing to do that, yeah.
Okay. Let's see what we can do.
I'm being told it's not my place.
No, someone's touching my leg. Is that thing? Sorry.
I'm being told it's not my place.
No.
And I'm trying to explain to him that albeit I'm...
Right, this man's not a priest, Tracy.
He's not.
No, this man is... Right, this man...
I don't feel comfortable with him, I have to be honest.
No, he's not a priest. This man's name's William. And in fact, this is the man that founded this church.
Right.
Right, his name's William. Yeah, William.
It's quite a stoutness to him.
Yeah, he's a shorter but chubbier man.
But chubbier man, there's quite a stoutness to him.
In fact, he owned this land. This was his land. This church was built by his money.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
And I understand now I understand why these tiles are here now. Okay, so these tiles were spots where they would stand, they would kneel and take their communion. So that's why they don't like us on it, because these are very special, sacred spots. Now I don't feel these tiles are actually correct. So I mean, I could smell fire when I came in here, and
I can smell it now.
And I'm yeah. Can you now? He's telling us.
Mm.
And it was in the roof. Definitely, the roof has been damaged here, but they saved it. But these tiles have been damaged because of it. These are old tiles. Not all of these are original tiles.
They're not so. Some of these aren't original.
And not all
tiles.
of these are in the right places either. They're telling me these have not been put down properly. But this particular one, and these ones up here, the ones where they would have knelt down and they'd have taken the sacrament. So they're very important. The priest does not like us here.
No.
And the reason being is because we wouldn't have been here. He wouldn't have even been seen. This is why he's hiding. So I understand now. Totally understand this. The reason, and this Catholic one, we wouldn't have seen him. He would have been behind the screen. The congregation wouldn't have seen him. That's why he doesn't like us seeing him. That's why he doesn't like being around us. We should not be here. Okay, I'm getting a feeling that this place is almost in my mind. I don't know. It's almost like a jarring vibration here, and it feels like it's split. Now I know we drove past an old ruined church, and there is definitely a link. But I feel what I'm feeling is I'm jarred between what these men believed and what their congregation believed and practiced, and I feel that they practiced, well, not witchcraft, like pagan. They were like their rituals were not really church rituals. Their rituals were church rituals, and there was a real conflict there amongst them.
Which is why we picked the conflict up before.
It was, so it wasn't a conflict with us because of who we are. It's just this conflict, and that's why this priest has stayed here, and that's why the other priest has stayed here. Because they felt that was very wrong. So they've
it's almost like they're protecting.
They're protecting it, they're watching over it.
Can we use the spirit box?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Because we could maybe,
to see if we can get some sort of contact going. Can we use the spirit box? We've got Stuart here, who's got the spirit box on him. Stuart, just explain to us the basic function of a spirit box.
Well, basically what it does, it goes through the frequencies of an FM radio, and the spirit is supposed to be able to speak through the radio. You will hear short, quick voices, but that's because it's going through the normal radio channels, stations. But you can sometimes pick up a sentence, and that's when you know that you're being contacted by an entity. So if I just turn the volume up, and Chris, if you want to start trying to contact who's here and see if you'd...
Okay, so if we start with William, sorry. Okay, William, if you are here, can you please let us know. Just speak to us. Tell us why you're here. Do you want us here? Just use our energy to vocalise your feelings. Do you want us here? Okay. William, why are you here? Do you stay here, William, or do you wander around this area? It was all yours. I'd like you to draw in closer, William, please. use my energy.
Temperature's gone down to 8.0.
William, draw in. Closer, that's it. I'd like you to tell us, please, are we welcome here?
I heard a no there, did you?
Why, William? Why are we not welcome here? Come on, you told us no. Tell us why. We're only here in respect. We want to prove your existence and help you. He's here, he's watching us. He's just not interacting at the minute. But Edward is there. So maybe we'll see if we can do it.
He looks quite older age.
When he comes back still young, doesn't he?
Yes.
So Edward's the priest.
Edward's the priest. William built this place. He owned this land. He's still holding on to what's his, I guess.
Yeah.
What on earth?
This I respectfully and humbly ask in your name, Lord Satan, may you deem me worthy, my Father.
Oh shit. Mate, I want out of here now. Oh, fuck me off. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Welcome back. On this episode of White Noise and Whispers, we're at St Mary's Church at Luddenham in Kent, a church with history going back to the Domesday Book and the Bayeux Tapestry. Chris and Tracy, our mediums, have already identified two names of malevolent spirits here at St Mary's, Edward and William, and are now about to try to gain further information. Stuart, our debunking specialist, is taking on the lone Vigil. The rest of the team take to the graveyard to look for more evidence. Meanwhile, back to Stuart on Vigil Cam.
Well, I've been left on my own in Luddenham Church. The time now is 10:45 p.m. I'm doing a lone vigil. Already I can feel it's very, very cold already. Just now we were saying how warm it's quite got in here, but now everyone's gone outside. It has turned freezing already, especially down my right side. In here I've got an EVP recorder, my walkie-talkie. I have my mini REM DD, and I have a spirit box. Hopefully I'll be using all these to try and communicate with an entity inside this building. Already we've had some spirits come through to try and get rid of us, basically. So let's see what they do with me. We have also a trigger object stuck in this little bit here. If there's anyone in this building who'd like to come forward and communicate with me, I wish you no harm, and I wish no harm to come to me. I just want to communicate with you, get to know you, find out why you're here. You can make a noise, you can tap the floor, you can knock on a pew, you can throw a stone, just not at me. if you'd like to come in here next to my pod here, set off the pretty lights. Come on, don't be shy. You've been active all evening. I'm here on my own. Maybe just throw a stone. Come on, you can work through me, use my energy. Use my energy. Come and set off the pod. Come and communicate with me. I wish you no harm. I can hear you walking in the background. Come and walk forward. Come closer. Don't be shy. I can hear some footsteps up by the altar. Freezing. Come on, I can feel you getting close. Check, see if the trigger object's moved. Seems to be in the same place. If there are any entities in this building that wish to come forward, please do so now. Come on in, don't be shy. I can hear your footsteps in the background. Can you make a noise for me, please? Show me that you're here. Are you standing outside this door? Well, move the handle for me. I've just heard you walk up to the door. Move the handle. Come on, use my energy. I'll use my energy. Move the handle. It's gone very, very quiet now. Try antagonising them, but I don't think that works. Come on, Edward. Come and communicate with me. I wish you no harm at all. If you could just make a little noise for me, anything. Just let me know you're here. It's just me and you. There's quite a bit of creaking going on with the pews, but it could be the change in temperature. It's dropping now. The time's bang on 11 o'clock. Certainly feel the temperature dropping. Please come and communicate with me. Show me that you're here. Rattle a doorknob, kick a pew. Okay, there's another couple of footsteps there up by the altar.
Whilst Stuart continues his lone vigil inside St Mary's, the team outside have been drawn towards a specific stone within the graveyard and are paying it very close attention.
It's just that one.
But I'm sure. Oh, sorry. I saw someone named Edward down there again. Yeah.
Youngest daughter of
Edward
and Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
1868.
What did I say? 1867.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That wasn't bad then, was it?
No, very
You're
good.
out.
All right, shall I do a bit of calling out and again, see if we can get anything to happen?
Yeah, let's see.
Hello, Charlotte. Are you here tonight?
It'd be good to do the spirit box here at some stage.
Yes.
That
that's
would
a
be
good
quite
idea,
good,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, Stuart's got it on his lone vigil.
Oh, right.
You won't do that then.
Okay.
Hello, Charlotte. My name's Steve. Just come to say hello to you. Would you like to say hello to me? Can you give us a sign you're here, please? Can you make a noise? I'm joined by Chris and Tracy, who also want to say hello to you.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte. Can you come and do something to one of us?
Come on, Charlotte, say hello.
Something, I think. So I just feel something around my legs and my feet.
If you're here, can you give us a real strong signal you're here, please? Can you make a noise?
Not really feeling it.
No.
Not at all.
You're not getting anything at all?
No, nothing at all.
Perhaps she doesn't want to say hello tonight. Okay, we're outside Luddenham Church. Unfortunately, the weather isn't very kind to us. It is raining. You may hear a few goats as well in the background. We're actually in farmland as well, so you may hear the rain as we're talking, and also there's a few goats just behind us as well bleating, so that might be picked up on camera as well. Okay, so should we have a walk around? So, Chris and Tracy, are you drawn to any areas at the moment? Anywhere you'd like to have a look at?
There's an area just around this side of the church that's a lot more peaceful than the rest.
Let's go and check it out.
Chris and Tracy are quite keen to visit the unexplored parts of the graveyard and are moving, alongside lead investigator Steve, towards the old doorway. That was the one featuring the unexplained bar movement we showed you earlier in the episode.
This must be one of the entrances to it. But it has a completely different feel round here to the rest of the church.
It does.
When we first arrived at the church, this area was so much calmer than the rest. See, it got a little bit calmer after the board in there. But it drew us because of the calmness here. It seemed very, very different, a very different vibration, and it may well be to do with the confessionals in there.
Yeah, I have to say actually, walking around, it doesn't feel eerie or spooky at all, does it? It just feels nice and peaceful here.
But actually, if I think about this is actually more probably to do with the sacrament that was there, so that would have been a very special, a very, very calm area. You see, they weren't preaching from this end, were they? They were preaching from the other end, so that was sacrosanct. You couldn't go there, but this was for everybody to flow through, everybody to flow through, everybody to flow through, everybody to flow through. So that would explain why the vibration here is calm. It's almost an in, out.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
you're welcome vibration here.
Yeah, I have to say, it's very tranquil here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this church as well, I don't know, it's just like a typical English quintessential church, isn't it, as well, in the countryside. And I have to say, the whole area just feels nice and calm anyway.
Yeah, different.
Yes, it
Completely
does.
different.
Yeah. I know inside, obviously, we've had a few things happen tonight, but outside, actually, I know we're in the graveyard, and traditionally graveyards are meant to be sort of quite eerie places, but it doesn't feel that at all, does it? It actually feels sort of, no, it sounds strange, it actually feels quite pleasant being here, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
Welcome back. We've left the team to their investigations within the graveyard. Let's get back to Stuart inside the church, who is well into his lone vigil and is hearing some bizarre noises on Vigil Cam.
Would you like me to leave? So now I heard a very clear yes then. Come and talk to me through this device.
Stuart's lone vigil seemed to prove fairly inconclusive. The team's investigation outside has now ended, and they've all come together by the altar inside the church. We rejoin them as they're about to commence a session with a Ouija board.
Right, we're going to start using we're going to use a Ouija board. We've had a lot of energy around here, and the spirits have been moving in. They're not very forthcoming with what they're saying, so we felt we'd use another piece of equipment to see if we can draw the energies in and get them to communicate through us using this Ouija board. We've got Tracy, who's also investigating today, and a medium. We've got Stuart, who's our debunker, and our lead here, who's Steve. So that's us. So we're going to now just say a protection around the board, because whenever you use anything like this, you really do need to be protected. You don't want to just draw any spirit in, because it can cause problems. So we just ask for a band of protection. Ask for a band of protection, golden protection around us. Let the light of the Spirit fill and protect and shroud each one of us. I ask that our guides draw in close, and that they bring the spirits in, allowing them to communicate with us through the medium of this glass. So we're just going to put a finger on the glass, just the tips of your finger. We ask that the spirits answer our questions. We ask you with all respect. So Edward, were you a priest in this church?
Use our collective energies to move the glass.
Edward. Thank you, Edward. When were you a priest in this church?
Use the numbers to show us.
Yeah, you've done well.
It's brilliant.
Okay, thank you, Edward. Edward, would you like us here, or would you like us to leave? Are you unsure? Edward, is there someone else here with you? Another soul?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Edward. Can you tell us, Edward, what was the name of that other soul?
Oh.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Okay, the other soul that's here. Can you use this glass to answer us, and our energy to move it? Do you want us here?
No.
Okay. Why do you not want us here? You want to use the letters, please, to tell us.
Use the letters.
Use the letters, please. Use our energy. Focus. Why do you not want us here? Are you angry with us being here?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you, you're going around the board and we're asking you a question to spell out to us. Do you understand the letters? Are you able to read them?
Yes.
Thank you. Could you spell out your name for us, please, who you are?
Well, he really does not want to help, does he?
We're trying to give evidence of who you are. We believe in you, and we want others to do the same. Would you spell your name out for us, please? William, is this you? Is this you, William?
Right, I know it's you, William. Would you like us to stop?
Are you alright?
I don't think William likes me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, fine.
Tracy, just explain what you felt just then.
I kind of got pushed.
Did you actually feel a push?
Yeah, I just...
Because you just fell
no,
right backwards
I took
then.
my hand off the glass because it was kind of not... It was almost like my hand was taken off the glass, and then I've gone back into the organ, and it was something there, and I just went.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's really hard to it's really hard to explain because it's not like somebody comes up and shoves you. It's just I've gone back and.
Miss Williams quite negative energy.
Do you think the contact could be like an organist or something trying to tell you rather than trying to spell
I
it out?
think wherever I stood, I would have been affected by him because I'm the female, and as we said before, because William, when he was building the place, it was very male orientated.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I got touched over there and why I swapped places with Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if I stand there and let you guys work the board and have the males work the board, I don't mind asking questions because obviously it doesn't frighten me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the first time anything like that's ever happened to me, so
Yeah,
I'd like to think it's going to be the last.
His energy was pretty
It's pretty
aggressive.
strong,
wasn't
it was pretty aggressive,
He's a pretty
yeah.
aggressive man.
And it's almost like I'm unwelcome. It's like, I don't want you because you're a female. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be doing this. When in actual fact, sorry, William, but I might be a female, but I do this.
Yeah.
Okay, what we're doing, we're going to do an interesting experiment. We're going to do another session on the Ouija board, but at the same time, though, Tracy's going to read a passage from the Bible that we found lying around. And the idea, hopefully, we can provoke some activity. So I'm going to pass you over to Chris first of all, who's just going to give us a quick lesson.
I ask for a band of protection to be placed around us, the light of the Spirit to bathe us, and our guides to be drawn in close. I ask that the spirits that are here communicate with us one more time. I ask my guides, bring them in, that they may work through us and use our energy to do so.
Almighty God, Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, maker of all things, judge of all men, we acknowledge and bewail our manifold sins and wickedness, which we from time to time most grievously have committed,
Yeah.
by thought, word and deed, against thy divine majesty, provoking most justly.
Is there a spirit here called Charlotte?
And indignation against us, we do earnestly repent.
Which I've been called Charlie.
In remembrance of them as
It's all been around the yes, isn't it?
reverting of them as
Charlotte, how old are you, please? Can you tell us, please?
Most merciful Father,
If you can use the numbers, Charlotte, around the edges. Can you use the numbers, Charlotte? Do you know them?
grant that we may ever hereafter serve and please thee in nearest of love.
Right, let's see if William's still there. And Edward. Right, William, are you here?
It's hovering around, but yes, isn't it? It's
It is.
circling. Hello, William, are you here? You going to say hello to us? Come on, William, you can do it.
Oh, he's getting a bit frustrated
Oh, dear.
now, aren't you, William? Okay,
Come on,
William.
William.
Right, William.
Thank you. We can ask you how old you are. Can you go to the numbers, please, and show us how old you are, please?
Come on, William. Do this for us and we'll move you on.
Oh,
How
yeah.
old are you, William?
Come on, William.
Come on, William, you can do it. Just use the glass on the numbers. How old are you?
Oh dear, this is coming across so strong. William, are you unhappy that Tracy's reading from the Bible? Is it wrong for a woman to be reading in church like this? You're not happy, are you?
Are you frustrated, William? Are you frustrated that we haven't moved you yet? Yeah, that's what it is. It's going crazy. Oh, hello.
That spun off.
Our mediums ascertained the two spirits, in particular the one called William, wanted to be moved on to the spirit world. The Ouija board showed his anger, as he hasn't been able to do so as yet. So the mediums attempt to move the spirits on by cleansing the church and putting a blessing on the whole site.
I ask now that the souls of Edward and William be drawn into this circle and into this light. I ask now my guides, take them into the spirit and allow them to pass from this place.
Gone. As quick as that.
Feels more peaceful now, doesn't it?
Just explain what happened there, Chris.
So what happened there was we created a protection around us and allowed our guides, I'll have my guides to step into the centre, created a very bright spiritual light and drew the spirits of Edward and William to that light. Whilst they were there, the guides that were there took them into the spirit world, where now they'll rest, have the conditions removed from them and be able to progress as souls should.
Okay, so the grounding that they had here has now gone.
Yeah, it's now gone. So you can actually feel that it's a lot more peaceful now.
Okay, so throughout the evening we've placed some trigger objects around and we're just going to see if they've moved. So in here we placed a cross in like a little cubby hole and we did draw a line up around it. That to me seems absolutely still, nothing's changed.
Yeah, there's no movement there with that one.
Yeah, we placed a second cross over here and this one has moved slightly. Not by a great deal, but it has moved, and no one's been around here to touch this. So, yeah, as you can see, we've had some movement there. And rather strangely, my torch is flickering. Yeah, it's fine now.
No, it's flickering.
Yeah. Well, what it is, every time I place my torch on the cross, it flickers. If I move it away, it's fine. Have you noticed that? Look.
Yeah.
Look at that. So maybe got a spirit here.
Okay.
I mean, my torch is fine.
It's Chris.
Just here.
Come and have a look at this, Chris.
Yeah, I was watching it.
Oh, you're
I know it's fine now. That was strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
Any
is quite odd.
theories, Chris, what might cause that? I've never known that to happen before.
Let's try with that.
No, I'd say it's most strange. I mean, I was just placing my... Look, it's doing it again.
Your batteries are going now.
I think they could be. And this was a new battery I put in tonight as well.
That's the trouble, isn't it? With
The battery's
spirit.
completely drained.
Yeah.
But we didn't close that.
You can
circle
see it
down.
flickering
Yeah.
on the camera.
I'm just going to move it slightly. It seems to stabilise, but when you go to the cross, see it's flickering. But if I move it across, I'll say, yeah, this was a new battery I put in before I left to come out tonight.
This was the one that had moved the most at the
Yeah.
beginning. Obviously, when we put it there and drew round it, it didn't seem to do it, but prior to that, it did move. But we didn't close that circle down when we removed those souls.
Right, so
we've still got energy there. So
Yes.
it's quite likely that the guides that are here that's drained most of the power sources that are around.
So this is our last trigger object. Okay, and this one has moved. I'm going to keep my hand still this time. But my torch has picked up a bit of power from just a few seconds ago when we checked the second torch. This one has moved. Oh, hey, here we go. Now it started to flicker. I'm just going to move my torch slightly away. No, it's still flickering. I'm just going to move it back. But as you can see on the camera there, yeah, that cross has moved by a few millimetres.
Very, very slightly.
And again, no one's been here to touch it.
Not much movement in there.
No.
Very slight.
Okay, I'm just going to check my torch. No, again, it's sort of stabilised now, it's not flickering.
Yeah, it seems weird. Over at that second trigger item, your torch wasn't really working at all.
No, and it's
But now it's
fine now.
Our visit to Luddenham has offered up a lot of evidence. Strange noises, an angry Ouija board, 2 malevolent spirits moved on to a higher plane. Does that prove conclusive? We'll leave it to you to decide. Come join the discussion. www.whitenoisetv.uk. Goodbye.